My ultimate goal is moving the discussion forward on literature and AI.
Because art is something that is such a strong part of our identity as humans.
Collaborating with machine intelligence.
Gave me.
They will be creative and they will be emotional. They will be loving even.
Artificial intelligence has come really far, and some people are starting to worry that technology is going to steal their jobs. I mean, we've already seen this happening with the service industry. If you go to a grocery store, there's self-checkout. If you call customer service, a robot answers the phone. As much as that's scary, AI couldn't possibly take over the jobs of artists, right? This art piece right here was sold for $430. It was made by a group called Obvious. The guy on the right is Pierre Fautrell, one of the Obvious co-founders. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. Obvious states that they are driven by a fascination to replicate creativity. Replicate creativity. Cause, yeah, that's not scary. As an author, this topic was really interesting to me. I decided to do some research to see if anyone's done this with literary pieces of art, and yeah, they have. There's a guy named Ross Goodwin who creates poems with technology. He refers to himself as a data poet.
In many ways, I'm still a writer and a photographer. I just use different tools.
When I first met Ross Goodwin, he was sitting there with a laptop that had a poem on the screen that was writing itself.
So who is writing the poetry? I really don't know how, I don't really know how to answer that question.
In 2018, he published a book called One the Road, which is a road trip novel, and it's described as the first novel written by a machine. To create it, he connected his computer to sensors and used an AI robot familiar with 200 selected books to write the road trip novel on a roll of receipts. There's an amazing YouTube video that documents his entire process, so if you're interested in learning more about it, I will link it down below. All of this research that I was doing eventually led me to find a game called AI Dungeon. You can play it on a computer, and they also have an app. It's kind of like interactive Wattpad. I don't really know how else to describe it. I'm going to spend 15 minutes creating a story using AI Dungeon. Sometimes the AI can get a little bit off track and you have to modify the story to make it work, but I'm going to try to intervene as little as possible so we get a purely AI written story, or at least as close as we can get. And in the story that we end up getting, I'm going to be looking for 3 key elements. 1, does the plot make sense? 2, are the characters realistic? And 3, does the story portray human emotions? That's going to be the key one. So, let us begin. I require your assistance.
Why?
Can you read me a story? Later.
Sure.
I'm about to set a 15-minute timer on my phone. I really don't like fantasy stories, but it is recommended. So I feel like for the purpose of this video, fantasy is gonna be the best option. I guess we'll be a wizard, because why not? Enter your character's name. We're gonna say that our name is Joe. Alright, here we go.
You are Joe, a wizard living in the kingdom of Larian. You look around and see nothing but ruined buildings. The air is quite calm, probably from all the magic that once filled this place. You have come here searching for a mystical spellbook of great power called the Book of Essence. This place doesn't look very promising, you think. A large group of goblins have raided the place and started to dig around the area you see. Goblins are infernal species and very cunning. You walk towards the goblins and see them starting to cover themselves in gold and jewelry. They are planning to abandon the place. This is a perfect chance for you to get the book. You attend the Larian Wizard Academy. Without the magical spellbook, you will no longer have a chance at passing the final exam and will lose your magical abilities. You attempt to grab the spellbook from the goblins. A single goblin notices you and attempts to stop you, but is swiftly killed. The other goblins decide to leave with the loot. You grab the spellbook. It seems all the goblins were killed. Well, at least there are no other guards here. You see the large ruin of the temple, but it's locked and traps cover the entrance. You enter the temple, traps and all, and get a little surprised to find that the temple is actually a lot bigger on the inside. Inside the temple is a girl practicing her magical abilities. She is using a forbidden book of dark magic. You grab the book from her. You are determined to stop her, from casting a spell that will bring destruction to the world. Are you crazy? You know we're not supposed to use books like these. What? I wasn't going to use it. You had it in your hands. You looked like you were about to cast a spell. The girl tries to take the book back, but you hold it behind your back. She is not very tall, but she is pretty with her long black hair and piercing green eyes. Look, if you want the book that bad, I can get another one. Another one? Yeah, you know, a book that isn't illegal to use, you say. Well, I can tell you that you won't get another one anytime soon. They're all in the Magic College in the town of Row's Roost. What? You hand her the book that you stole from the goblins. Look, I can't get a real book anytime soon, so can you please just teach me how to use this one? Oh, I suppose. She sighs and takes the book from you. You learn that the girl's name is Rose. She goes to the same wizard school as you, but you have never had a class together. She recognizes many spells in the book you stole from the goblins, and attempts to teach you one. You aren't very good at it, but she seems to enjoy your attempts. What am I supposed to do while I say the spell, you say? I don't know, just say it. Okay, say it. It'll work out in the end. Rose shakes her head. This isn't going to end well. Rose covers her eyes as both spellbooks explode into flames. You and her quickly run out of the room. This was a really bad idea, Rose says. A dark portal opens up in the temple. Out of it steps a demon. You have heard of the purple-skinned demons before. They are insanely dangerous, and the only way to defeat them is with a level 6 spell. You have a very hard time believing you can defeat it because you only know level 3 spells. You turn to run, but a bolt of lightning suddenly hits Rose, and she falls to the floor. You cast a healing spell on Rose. She is beginning to get up. Thanks. A demonic howl fills the air. So what now, you say? Now we kill that demon. You nod in agreement. You and Rose prepare to cast a killing spell. The killing spell can only be performed with 2 wizards. You and Rose get into position as the demons get closer. Now! You and Rose fire your bolts at the demon. It doesn't seem to do anything as it keeps walking towards you. You and Rose prepare another spell. I'm sorry, I wasn't focusing hard enough, you say. What? Rose says, startled by your comment. Nothing. You both keep firing bolts at the demon. It seems to be doing nothing to them. This happened because you were using dark magic, didn't it? You say. Yeah. What were you going to cast? Rose looks at you. I don't want to say. You really need to say. The demon is about to reach you and Rose. You want to hear what spell she was going to cast, but there isn't any time. You strike another bolt at the demon. It looks severely wounded, but keeps coming. You and Rose prepare the last spell. Now! You and Rose fire your bolts at the demon. The demon falls to the ground and bursts into flames. The portal it came from closes shut. You and Rose are exhausted. You did all of this alone. You killed the demon single-handed, but what does that matter when you're dead? Are you going to be okay? Rose asks. You had casted so many spells that you could hardly stand. You had learned in wizard school that performing too many spells for your level is dangerous. Eventually, you will probably collapse. Yeah, you say, we did it. Well, come on, we need to go. Yeah, I should probably see a doctor. You better promise me not to use that stupid dark magic again. Alright, Rose says, no dark magic. The pair of you leave the temple. You don't really feel like going to the wizard school anymore. The end.
Alright, so he just wrote a story using AI Dungeon. I think our wizard friend Joe is now traumatized from magic. Some of the parts were kind of shocking, actually, the way that the AI was able to keep up with facts, and I did have to intervene a little bit, but it was nothing too crazy. Do you think I wrote that?
Yeah.
Okay, what if I told you that a robot wrote that?
I might believe it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what... I forgot what the story... What... I forgot what they said. Did you tell them what to, tell them what to write?
Do you remember when you were reading it off the screen? There was the ones in bold?
Yeah.
Those were the only parts that I wrote.
Oh.
Did it seem like a human wrote it?
Yes.
Thank you for narrating.
Okay.
This is going on YouTube.
Okay, nice.
Alright, bye. See ya. Honestly, creating that story with the AI was so much fun, but now we have to address the 3 things that I mentioned earlier. The first one was, does the plot make sense? In my opinion, the plot did make pretty good sense. There were some times when the AI got off track like I expected, but honestly, I didn't have to make any huge changes. I think one time it said they left the school and I changed school to temple, so it was consistent. That was pretty much it. It was just removing or changing very small sections of the text. 2, are the characters realistic? They weren't anything special. They didn't do things that were completely unbelievable. I'd say they're not crazy realistic, but they're not fake either. Now the most important thing that I was looking for, the third element. Does the story portray human emotions? I'm really not sure. I'm interested in hearing what you have to think about that third element. If you think that the story accurately portrayed human emotions, please comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. In my opinion, I don't think creatives need to be worried about AI taking over their jobs anytime soon, but from my experience with AI Dungeon, I feel like it's definitely a possibility for the future, especially if this technology keeps getting better and better. Before I go, I want to shout out my friend Lucas James, who recently published his digital poetry collection called Chaos Theory. I promise you, it was not written by AI, so please go support a real human and his non-data generated art.
What? Oh my god, all that? It's gonna take years. Okay, do I just sit like this? Why, though? Why am I reading this? What are you doing this for? You are Joe, a wizard living... Joe. I can't get through the first, word. I can't do it. I literally can't do it. It's literally gonna be impossible. But she is pretty with her long black hair and... Oh my god, okay. But you never reckon... You got... Yeah. That good?
Beautiful, yes.
Am I done forever now?
This has probably been one of the most crazy yet fun videos that I've ever made, so thank you so much for sticking around to the end of it. If you found this video interesting, please give it a like, and I will see you next time.